Good morning, folks. So it's a bright, sunny day here at Flock, and I want to take you through my ideas for this grassy swath of area behind me. And actually there's one over off to the right of me as well. And just to give you context, we are in front of the Meadow House, and this really opens up to the meadow that we installed where there used to be an old container nursery. Now, just to give you a bit more of a background, when we were actually cleaning out the area that used to be a container nursery, that was back in 2021, there was a lot of gravel, a lot of trash. We ended up taking out, I think, around 64 tons of trash. The previous owners took out about 32 tons of trash prior to that. We took out thousands of invasive species. I mean, it was a really big job. And then we got excited because we cleared the area, we made it slope really nicely, we disked it, and we wanted to seed it, but we only had about 40% of the seeds that we wanted to use, and so we kind of underseeded the area. But there are certain areas that were too sloped that the tractor couldn't get to, and this is an area that was basically too sloped. We couldn't get to it, and it has all this previous grass that had been there, and it's a little too weedy for us. So basically, I want to show you a bit more of this area, and it looks small in comparison to the 9 acres that are behind it, but it's actually quite large. So I would say it's roughly maybe 14 to 16 feet deep, and then, my golly, probably 40 feet wide up until you get to the point of a walk path that we've mowed up towards the back. But then you have that same amount of space in the back over there. So you have 2 spaces that are essentially 16 by 40 feet. What I'd like to do is reseed and replug this entire area. What's interesting about this grass is that it is a native grass. It's Phalaris arundinacea, it's reed canary grass, and it's often used as a popular forage. But from what I found out is that there is a non-native genotype, and it tends to be a bit more bullish. So even though that this is a native grass, it's nice to have. We started to seed it with more native grasses. This one, I think, is probably the non-native genotype. Farmers would bring it in because it's a very prolific forage grass. Now, if we had animals here and they were eating this down week over week, then it's probably would make sense for us to actually keep it. But we really don't want it into this area because it is the part of the meadow that really opens up to the Meadow House. And we'd like to make that a bit more beautiful. So my thought process behind this is actually taking some black tarp. We'll put it down with some stones. Now we'll probably need like 4 of them because we had one that was a tarp. We tarped our roof, so we needed a really large one for the roof, and we bought 2 of those, but we probably need 2 more. And we're just going to snuff out this area. So what I'd like to do, because it's the fall, we're approaching winter, this is really hard to mow, and even with like our John Deere tractor or whatever, we probably need some kind of brush hog, but we don't have that. We have not invested in one of those tools yet. So how I've managed it basically is just hedge trimming. So I go out and I hedge trim maybe the first 6 inches off, and then I'll go in there and string trim it. And I don't like to string trim as much. I mean, it's a lot of extra work, and what I like about the hedge trimmer is that it just like cuts it and sloughs it off and drops it. So if there's any kind of animals or insects in there, I'm not really like chopping them to bits. So the string trimmer is a bit intense. And the reason why I don't string trim it all at once is because the grass is so long, it's like cutting ropes, and it wraps around the string trimmer. So that's why I go and hedge trim it first. Also the goldenrods, if there's goldenrods in here, and you could see there's some that will probably end up being lost in the whole process because of where they're placed in the meadow and where we're gonna snuff it out. But those stems are often pretty woody, and the hedge trimmer actually deals with those a lot better than the string trimmer. And we have a pretty beefy string trimmer as well with a nice strong rope. Well, fall time now, I'll cut it down as I had mentioned, and then winter happens, kind of crushes down the grass a bit more, And then as soon as the snow melts, let's say it's March, let's say it's April, let's say it's May, we never know when it's going to be, then we'll tarp it over, and we'll tarp it over for the full growing season. So up until mid to late fall, and then we'll actually seed it in. We may get some plugs, plug some plants in as well so that they come up more quickly. And we'll probably end up mowing it the first year to make sure that there's no weedy bits kind of coming up, because oftentimes the plants that we seed in, those perennials, take a while to establish. They first concentrate on their roots, and then they concentrate more on their shoots, so you start to see them in year 2 and year 3 mainly. So that's something that we have to be prepared for, that it might look a little bare, or we might actually have to weed it a bit more down here in general. So, and it's good to seed in the fall time, because a lot of our seeds have to actually cold stratify in order to emerge. And that cold stratification actually happens over the winter months. So that's my tentative plan. I could totally change up the plan somewhat, somehow, some way between now and then, but that's what I would like to do. And then maybe if there's like little weedy areas in the meadow, that's how we could tackle them, is just kind of putting a large tarp over them, pinning it down for a year, and then reseeding that area that may have not gotten seeded along the way. So this is the second area that I was referring to, and you could see that this also has this quite weedy grass. I mean, it has some beautiful asters in it. So you could see some of the asters right here, late season asters. It's end of October, so it's really nice to see some floral resources for some of the pollinators here. But this is the grass that I'm referring to. So look at how thick. It's a bit obnoxious here, right? So yeah, this is the canary reed grass, and I'm pretty certain that this is the non-native genotype. And back here, you'll see some more of the goldenrod that has moved in, and you can see some late season asters. So again, this area was not really dealt with when we reseeded the meadow. It had been weed whacked and everything along those lines, but not really taken care of or seeded otherwise because of that massive grass. You can see in here, we have some of the Zizia aurea, that's golden Alexanders, so I wouldn't want to touch that. So I'm talking about, like, you could see the bifurcation of the goldenrod on this side and then kind of the grass on that side. So that would be the swath of area that we would be talking about here. And then if we swing over, here's the pathway up the meadow that you could see. And then if we swing over here, you'll notice the grass again here. So this is really, it forms a thicket to the point that not much else could grow in it. Now, I've started to give some thought to the planting plan in this area, but not fully. Once I have a think over the winter, which is what winter is, I like to use winter for, is thinking and planning and designing and conspiring and all that other good stuff. But yeah, look at this grass right here. So that's the plan. And if you have any suggestions as well, feel free to let me know. And if you have dealt with canary reed grass in the past, I'd love to hear what you have done in order to control it. Like I said, if we had animals here, if I was here full time and we started to get into the animal game a little bit, then this would be perfect forage. But you know what? We have this in another area where we'd like to keep animals, and then that would be something that could be a forage area versus like having them forage right where cars are moving and people are being transported, and obviously right in front of the Meadow House as well. So yeah, that's one of the big projects for next year, I suppose.